Hello, in part 3 of this week's series we're going to be dealing with the Servicescape model. So building on the models that we've learnt from environmental psychology, this researcher called Mary Jo Bittner, she's developed the Servicescape model which conceptualises the impact of the physical surroundings on the behaviour of both customers and our employees. So the model includes these environmental dimensions which form the perceived servicescape as a holistic environment. So together they make one whole thing, right? These dimensions include the ambient conditions, space and function, signs, symbols and artifacts. And we're going to look at those in a little bit more detail coming up. We've got the model on the next slide. The impact of the environment is moderated. So in this model, the impact of the environment is moderated by personal and situational factors, which goes back to what I was talking about before, that different people respond to different ways to the same stimuli. Therefore they have different responses to it, right? This means that some service environment can have different impact on different people. So these internal responses impact behaviours of both in customers and employees, and I really need to emphasise that point because the model kind of splits in two to show that. Now I've got a copy here, or a screenshot of the article which was published in the Journal of Marketing in 1992. It's quite an important article, and a lot of research sort of builds on for that one, so it might be worth checking that out, and you should all have access to that through the university library. So here's the model. As we introduced in the previous slide, it's got the environmental dimensions which form the holistic environment. We've got these moderators which are for the employees at the top and customer at the bottom. So there's his own, like if you're in a good mood, like just say if your employees just found out their dog is sick or something like that, right? Or they have to put their dog down. They're going to be sad. They're going to be in a bad mood already. So that's got a response moderator. So no matter how pleasant the environment is, they're still going to be having a bad day. Whereas if they just say bought a new car or something like that, they're going to be happy and excited. So that's their internal, accounts for those individual internal responses. Then we have the internal response of both the customers up here and the employees up here and the customers down there, which are the cognitive things such as beliefs, categorization, symbolic meanings, the emotional feelings, moods and attitudes, and the psychological pain, comfort, movement and physical. So these three dimensions of our consumer psychology, and then which are pretty much the same for both our employees, our workers and our customers, right? Now these lead then to the responses to the external environment, to our Servicescape. Now for employees, it can generate approach behaviours where our employees feel affiliated, like close connected to our organisation. They like working there. Exploration, so they want to explore more of where they work and what they do. Stay longer, so it's enjoyable to be there, so they're prepared to stay longer, whether that be overtime or not knocking off early, things like that. And overall satisfaction, employee satisfaction. So the avoidance then are the opposites of what approach. So it means that they feel disaffiliated, so that they don't feel like a part of the organisation, and all these things. Now we have in the model have the interaction between employees and customers, which is quite important because these are the boundary spanners. And then so our customers will have much the same thing. Yeah, for employees they have to be there, so whether they feel affiliated. Whereas customers, we're trying to attract them. So if the Servicescape is positive, they will feel attracted to the Servicescape. It makes them want to stay longer and explore more of your Servicescape. So whether that's like a retail outlet, they'll go through the aisles more like that. They will spend more time considering the services that you got on offer. If it's unpleasant, they just want to leave. All right. Because of this attraction and staying more, they actually end up spending more money because it's pleasant, and they're more happy as well. So this model is quite powerful, explaining how the environment in which the Servicescape in which we craft for our service firm has a direct, well, shouldn't say direct because it goes through this model, but has a flows through this model. It has an impact on both our employees and most importantly our customers as well. Alright, so let's have a look at this now. So the dimensions of the service environment. So service environments are complex and have very many design elements. An overview of the design elements in a retail store include the exterior facilities, so what that looks like, whether it's glass, you can see through it, stuff like that. The general interior, how the aisles are laid out, what's in there, the story layout. So How each floor is structured, so where are the lifts and all the escalators and stuff like that, where are the A1, like where are the most prominent displays and stuff. The interior in displays, so normally the prominent ones facing outwards to the street. The interior displays themselves, thinking about with the layout, how customers walk around, what are they going to see, like what's on display there, and then the social dimensions, like how do people interact? Is it tight and cramped and make you feel claustrophobic, or is it good for people to have a nice conversation there, like those dimensions there. So we've got the table here of the exterior, general exterior, the store layout, interior, and the social dimensions in there, which is a little bit more detailed in there. I don't really have time to go through all of those, but you can, when you do your analysis for your service audit, spend the time in there checking that out. Right, so dimensions of the service environment. So scent is important ambient dimension. So I'm going to go back, is it 2 or 3 slides? This slide here. So the ambient conditions include the temperature, air quality, noise, music, and scent. All right. So we're going to be focusing on the scent one here. Ooh, where's it gone? All right. So the presence of scent can have a strong impact on mood and behaviour. Now, we've got this study called aromatherapy, which studies the effects of fragrances of people. This is becoming more important, and firms are actually starting to copyright and brand their scent. So they'll get a diffuser, they'll craft put chemicals together and get a very distinct smell, like a perfume type thing, and then they'll go, that's our brand scent, and then they'll copyright that. So the fragrance, such as eucalyptus, the aromatite is, I don't know how to say that, these words, like this is beyond my area of expertise, but so the aromatherapy class for toning, stimulating, traditional use such as deodorant, antiseptic, soothing agent. Now the potential psychological effect on people is actually stimulating and energizing. So the study of aromatherapy goes, well, this type of smell can actually stimulate and energize people, which kind of makes sense, right? When people use eucalyptus oil, I'm not sure if any of you can think about what that smells like. How does that make you, what psychological effect does it have on you? And a lot of you would go, yeah, it makes sense that it's an energizing and stimulating type of scent. Now, lavender is more of a herbaceous, I'm not sure if I'm saying these words right, herbaceous type aroma, like made from herbs and stuff like that. So it's calming and balancing. It's good for muscle relaxation, soothing agent, and astringent. Now it's relaxing and calming. That's why you often use lavenders in massage rooms and day spas and stuff like that, right? Excuse me. Now lemon is a citrus smell. It's energizing, uplifted, antiseptic, soothing agent. So it's for soothing energy levels. And black pepper is spicy. It's for balancing and soothing, muscle relaxant, aphrodisiac, and it's for balancing people's emotions. So whether you agree with that or not, whether that relates to your own personal experience, this is kind of what the research shows, how in general people respond to these scents. Excuse me. Right, now likewise with scent, colour also has an impact on people's behaviours and their responses to the environment. So the colour of red is a warm colour, and it's a nature symbol is earth. So we tend to associate red with the ground or earth, and the common association and human exposure to colours such as high energy and passion. So you think about a red rose or a red car, or like all these red things which can associated with excitement and stimulating emotions, expressions, and warmth. All right. Orange is one of the warmest colours. Nature symbol is sunset, so think of the sun setting down, it gives this beautiful orange glow, and it's got emotions, strong emotions, expressions of warmth. Yellow is warm, such as the sun, optimism, clarity, intellect, and mood enhancing. Green is cool, growth, grass, and it's nurturing, healing, and unconditional love. In there you might do research, a lot of students do their own research for their assignments and stuff, and green is also associated with environmental issues as well, right? So that's not in this research, but in other research that comes out. Alright, blue is the coolest of the colours, and it's associated with sky and ocean, which kind of makes sense, blue sky, blue ocean. Relaxation, serenity, and loyalty. Now that loyalty is also trust, and a lot of banks use blue or organisations that try and emphasise the trust, because for some reasons human beings, especially in Western cultures, associate blue with a trusting, dependable and loyal emotions. Indigo, cool, sunset, meditation and spirituality. And then violet, which is like purple, cool, violet flower, spirituality, reduces stress and can create inner feelings of calm. Also, violet and purple have these notions of royalty and stuff as well. So there's actually a fair bit more research now coming out about this, but I think it's kind of cool and it's interesting. So when you do choose colours for your branding and your store, your servicescape, think about these. Also, another interesting one is, which is not in here, is about hunger. Apparently, yellow and red also are associated with hunger, and that kind of makes sense because you think a lot of the fast food outlets, and they've all got those colours. But the purpose of this lecture is to introduce you to the idea of how colours relate to the different associations and the emotions that we feel from it. When you do your assignments or do your analysis, critical analysis, you look into that further for more specific connections there. Right, so now it's important to think about designing from a holistic view. So servicescapes have to be seen holistically, and that was one of the key things of the servicescape model. We've got all these dimensions of the servicescape, but they all come, and when you look at each dimension individually, you can kind of make connections, but you've got to sort of work out all these individual dimensions coming together to have one overall servicescape. So just because your scent is on track, and you've got a very, you go, oh, well, we're going to develop this scent because it has evokes these types of behaviours, that might be really good. But then if your colour scheme is off, then the scent and the colour, holistically, so individually they might be achieving the things that you want, but then holistically they clash, and therefore it doesn't work. So you need to make sure that everything comes together to achieve a holistic approach to your servicescape. So they have to be seen holistically, which means not one single dimension of the design can be optimized in isolation, because everything depends on everything else. The holistic characteristic of the environments makes designing service environments an art. So the science often focuses on the individual elements. The art is combining those together to make it creative and then expressive and get the results that we want. So much so that professional designers tend to focus on specific types of servicescapes. And this is a really growing area of not only marketing but also architecture. So it's kind of the fusion of architecture and consumer behaviour, which is part of marketing, right? All right, so let's think about designing from a customer perspective. So many service environments are designed for functional or aesthetic value, so it looks good or is easy to use. Sometimes managers forget to consider customers who will be using the service when designing service environments. So it's important to remember that servicescapes should not only look good, they need to be user-friendly, and this is where our testing comes in. So if we are the manager of the store, or like a marketing manager, we're designing a servicescape, we're thinking, oh, that's going to look good, I like the look of that, yada yada, go through all these things in our brain. Sometimes it's good to take your key customers through and see what they think about it, because if you can see it from the customer's perspective, they're the ones that we're really targeting, and they're the ones that are going to have and also your employees, of course, as well. And the employees is kind of a little bit easier to do because they work for you. So you go, oh, come around, this is what we're thinking of doing. You get the direct feedback, but then also do the same with your customers and go, we're thinking of developing a new store. Would you like to give us feedback on our designs and how that relates to you and how that makes, what your attitude towards that is. So that concludes it for this week. On the servicescape, it's a big topic. It's got lots of interesting theories in there. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.